Good evening and welcome to another edition of Filmnut. I am your host, Jeff Schubert. Glad you can join us. Well, from Harry Houdini to Evel Knievel to David Blaine and Chris Angel, to be a once-in-a-generation daredevil / escape artist takes a great skill, great courage, and great strength. Now, Dusty Peacock, does he have that? I don't know. You're going to have to check that out for yourself. Dusty Peacock is a great new comedy web series on Crackle.com. It is being executive produced by Kevin James. Mr. Peacock himself is being played by Gary Valentine. You got to like him on The King of Queens. I think you're going to fall in love with him on Dusty Peacock. Here he is, writer, comedian, actor, daredevil, stuntman, Dusty Peacock, Gary Valentine. How you doing, sir? Thanks for coming in tonight.
I'm doing good, Jeff. Thanks for having me.
Well, I got a chance to watch, I think, all of them. It's fantastic, very funny, and I'm glad to have you on here to talk about it.
Yeah.
Now,
it's hysterical. It's the best series ever created.
Ever created, absolutely.
Ever created.
Why settle low, right? Raise that bar. So, for the audience, who is Dusty Peacock, and what is the web series about?
You know, Dusty Peacock is well, like you said, he's a daredevil. He's an illusionist. He's kind of a stuntman. You know, I say kinda because Dusty doesn't really have the talent. You know, he has the drive, but no talent, which is very difficult for me to play. And he's just a likable guy. You know, he's the only one that's proactive in his group, his posse, and no one else around him believes in him. But they're just in it for the money. My girlfriend's, you know, hanging on by the string of her teeth, and my manager wants to fire me. My brother is scared, you know, to death about anything I do. He just loves me and doesn't want me to get hurt.
I was really touched by the loyalty of these characters to you, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, well, it's funny. We each have this certain relationship, which is kind of neat.
Well, let's talk about it a little bit. Your brother's played by Nick Turturo, right? NYPD Blue, amongst many other.
Exactly. Yeah.
And your relationship to him is what?
Well, we play brothers, and he just idolizes me, you know. And growing up, I was the older brother, and I did some bad things to certain toothbrushes and stuff like that, you know. So, you know, tricks like this, brothers play on each other. And he just loves me and just doesn't want me to get killed.
And he's the one who's looking out for you, right?
He's definitely looking out for me.
Your manager, Nick Bakay.
Yeah.
Right? And he is...
Played by Nick Bakay, right?
Played by Nick Bakay, right? But his name is...
Burt Reynolds.
And how did he get that name? Not that Burt Reynolds?
It's not that Burt Reynolds. You know, a while back we had Burt Reynolds on The King of Queens, and we just thought it was a funny name. It's a funny name, isn't it? If it's not Burt Reynolds, it's a funny name to be Burt Reynolds. Oh, good. It's not funny on Burt, but it's funny on Nick Bakay.
Right. Well, it's funny. We'll get back to the matter. Speaking of funny names, right? So Dusty Peacock, right? And in King of Queens, your last name was Heffernan. And Paul Blart. I mean, what is it with you and Kevin and the funny names?
Well, you know what? I had nothing to do with Blart, Paul Blart. That was Kevin. Heffernan, neither one of us had anything to do with, because that was Michael Whitehorn's creation. Right. And Peacock came from a friend of ours named Danny Peacock that we grew up with. And it started out as Danny Peacock, and I called the creator, Rock Rubin, a buddy of ours, and I said, I think this guy's name is Dusty Peacock. And we were like, that's it, man, that's it.
Yeah, that's funny, you got all the great paraphernalia. So now your relationship with your manager, he loves managing you, or?
No, he hates his life, he hates managing me. He wanted to sue me, he tried to sue me, he was contractually obligated to stay in it. So there's this whole thing going on where his heart's not in it, but he's in it for the big, you know, that big stunt we pull off, make the cash, and he might be gone.
Now, what kind of stunts do you do in the series?
Oh, God. I mean, by the way, no stunt doubles.
No stunt doubles?
It's all GV.
It's all GV?
Oh, it's all GV. I had to hang...
Especially when he's in the Speedo, ladies and gentlemen. It is definitely all GV.
Oh, it's definitely all GV. Yeah. And I was a little bloated that day, mind you, so just keep that in mind. But, you know, it's so funny because I figured, you know, what kind of stunts we're going to do? You know, I had to hang 30 feet upside down on a crane with my arms in a straitjacket, and there was no pad. Right. And I was asking the stunt coordinators, I go, where's the pad? He goes, you're not going to need a pad. If you fall, done. You're not breaking your fall. And I was like, shit.
That was pretty serious. I mean, yeah, I mean, hanging upside down, Spider-Man kiss right before you went up. I really got a good laugh out of that.
Yeah, that was good. By the way, it was an improv, wasn't in the script.
Lots of those. We were talking before we came on. A lot of improvisation in the series, correct?
Yeah, you know, Rock and I have known each other since
Rock Rubin,
the
writer,
who wrote on King of Queens with us for 9 years, and him, Kevin, and myself obviously knew each other since childhood, and really got to know each other through stand-up, you know, and about years ago, and we just know our sensibilities and we know each other. So Rock wrote a great script with some great jokes in it, but he said, look, have fun and play. And the cast that we created, we actually hired the cast, and we used all people that were pretty quick on their feet, you know. Melissa Peterman,
she
Nick
plays the
Bakay.
girlfriend, right?
Right, Melissa plays my girlfriend. She's a foot taller than me, you know, total white trash. It's perfect. And you know, and Nick Turturo and Boss Rutan, who's a UFC champ.
Right.
You know,
he's your
ultimate
trainer.
Fighter.
Right.
He's my trainer on the show, but incredible actor. I mean, just you know, natural and funny. So it's good.
I love when you're in the pool. Don't panic.
Yeah. I told him not to panic.
I told him not to
Don't panic.
That was great. So there's a pool thing where you're holding your breath underwater.
Yeah.
Right. So you mentioned the one where you're hanging upside down in a straitjacket.
Right.
What other kind of stunts?
There's a guy that's a marksman. Is shooting, trying to shoot a bullet into a little tin cup in my mouth. Right. Really nerve-wracking.
Right.
There's a grape in the mouth trick.
So you're trying to set the Guinness Book of World Records for the amount of grapes in your mouth, I believe?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound funny, but it is.
Right.
And, you know, there's a couple other ones.
Potential fire episode?
Yeah, it's a fire walking situation, which actually happened in the past, but we fast forward.
And not so much a stunt, but a debate about pizza and how much cheese is actually
exactly.
on
Yeah,
it.
I mean, the series is, you know,
it's fun.
It's character driven, so we could do anything. You know, this thing is a feature film. It's a series. It's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of story to be told about each one of these characters and the relationship with Dusty. You know?
Well, the thing, absolutely, there's great individual relationships with Dusty, and I love how straight you play it. I mean, we really haven't mentioned it, but Dusty's not all too successful in pulling off a lot of these stunts. His heart's in it, but, you know, he has a little bit of problems.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Dusty is he's about 78% into it himself, and the other, whatever it is, 22%, he doesn't really trust, you know, himself. He's with them on the other 22%. So you see that fear, you know, but I'm going for it. Yeah. I think I'm cut out for this, you know, kind of thing.
And then, of course, the post-event interviews are great.
yeah, it's the documentary style, which is kind of neat, and, you know, what happened prior to the build-up of the stunt, and then afterwards, of course.
We got some IMs coming in, so let's get to some of those. Let's see, from It's Tumor. Do you get to enjoy more freedom doing a web series than a network show? So King of Queens was on, what, 9 seasons on CBS?
Yes, something like that.
And something like that.
I don't know. I think we passed Seinfeld a couple of episodes. Neither here nor
Who's
there.
keeping count?
Neither here nor there. That doesn't matter. You know, it's so funny because you do have more room when you're doing a web series as opposed to a TV series, because obviously there's no confinement. You know, our series, we chose to be clean and funny and smart and ridiculous in the same motion. So it's that's what it's all about there. You know, I mean, we can do whatever we want, and, you know, we might take it there at some point, but right now it's pretty clean.
So shooting a sitcom, I would imagine, is a pretty regimented schedule. You know what you're doing every day of the week up until the day then you actually shoot it, and it's like a 5 to 7 day cycle or something. Right?
Exactly.
So what was the cycle for an episode of Dusty? Did you shoot more than one at a time, or how did it go?
Yeah, well, you know, if you let me answer, Jeff. Oh, no, I'm kidding. I was, you know, the thing is with Dusty is we shot for about 5 or 6 days, and we shot 8 episodes, and we shot probably, I don't know, 8-10 hours a day, and we came down to 3 to 5 minute episodes, you know. So we had a lot there, a lot of material that we gathered. And it was great, though, because the difference between the sitcom and Dusty is that the web series is that we had the chance to improvise like a film. You know, Rock, Kevin, and I said, well, look, let's go from A to B. but let's have fun with it. And that's when a lot of the good stuff came alive, that was on the paper. Obviously, it came alive, and then we had improvs thrown in there by all the characters, which was great.
Awesome. Now, did you wind up shooting it more like a film versus a sitcom, or did it have its own style of being shot?
We shot it. It felt like a film. It felt like a film set, And I've been on so many film sets. I mean, I can't even count them. I think it's 3, but 4, and no 3. But yeah, it felt like a film. The whole thing. It just we shot on location, and it's kind of rough. And
who is the dentist office? That seems to be a main spot, right?
Yeah. Well, originally we wanted a dentist office. We thought it would be funny as a dentist office. We couldn't get our own office, so we used the brother of the manager. But it turned into an eye doctor's office.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because we couldn't get a dentist office.
Right.
I think our dentist office turned us down or something. Which is going to bite him in the ass when we're successful.
Exactly.
When Dusty takes off, the dentist is going to go, ah!
Let's see. Sean would like to ask you, what is the typical production time for one episode of Dusty Peacock? Well, we just talked about that. 10-hour days.
Yeah, try to keep up, Sean.
Let's see. I can't pronounce that one. Alpha SIDN. Gary, what has been your favorite aspect of being a regular on a television series?
I was just thinking about it today, actually. I love driving to work on a Friday when all your rehearsals out of the way and you kind of know what you're doing. Right. I say kind of, because nobody really knows what they're doing. Right. And, you're waiting for that live audience to come in. And I love the live audience from stand-up. Some actors don't really perform live. They don't like that audience reaction. I love it. I feed off it. I love it. So the energy starts to build as the day goes on. Our shoot day was on a Friday. Some are on Tuesdays and Wednesdays and stuff, but and then Mondays and Thursdays and sometimes Saturdays and never Sundays. But it's just fun, that energy that builds during that Friday to showtime. It's pretty cool. It's a cool feeling.
And we've never really talked about this on film. Talk about what happens before the show goes live. You, the cast, you get introduced to the audience, you get the applause. There's comedians warming up the audience, right?
Yeah, exactly. There's a comedian that warms up the audience probably, 20 minutes before the show actually starts. And then what we did, I'm not sure if other shows do this, maybe they do, we played like a highlight reel of the King of Queens. And so they got into the characters, those that were new to the show, if anybody was, they would see the highlight reel, and then they'd introduce the cast, and then we'd go back and then start the show.
Boom, that's smart. I'm sure maybe other shows do, but I haven't heard
It is
that
smart.
before.
It was my idea, actually, the whole process, and
Now, Dusty Peacock has a very specific look. So who came up with the look for Dusty? The wardrobe, the hair? Everything.
Yeah, it was Kevin, myself, and Rock that really put our heads together and said, you know what? We kind of want this to be not Evel Knievel, not Super Dave, and we kind of like that goth angle, So the Chris Angel situation is really cool. He walks around, like he's Tommy Lee, and I dig that,
Yeah.
He's got the rings, the chains, and he doesn't need any of it, but he's great. But and then the hair, we actually wanted to do something really funny with the hair because I have great hair. So
and Dusty's got a style that Dennis Rodman would be proud of.
Yeah, really. I mean, anybody. I could see kids going into the barbershop in a couple of years going, "Give me the Dusty. Could you give me the Dusty?" And the haircut might evolve through the years, but it was something that we cut it into a bowl at first, and that wasn't funny enough, as hysterical as it was. We wanted no sideburns and kind of a bowl cut, and then we just started shaving, and hence the mohawk.
And you have, do you have
Peacock.
different colors in different episodes, or is it all this blue-green? I thought I noticed red in one episode. Am I wrong?
Well, Jeff, when I do a stunt, I put color in the hair, and the eyeliner goes on. When I'm in my day clothes, no hair coloring, mousse, gel, I style it, but no eyeliner, and same amount of rings, chains.
So it's your hero versus non-hero look, right?
Exactly,
Okay.
yeah.
We have another IM coming in from Pipe 38, question for a guest. What is it like to work with his brother? Any sibling rivalries? His brother is, even though the name you wouldn't know it from the names, Kevin James of the King of Queens is your younger brother, correct?
He is.
Yes.
Yeah, he's my younger brother. And I played the younger cousin on the show, which he really loved. But, you know, yeah, I mean, we had rivalries, you know, mostly creative, you know. Kev thinks a little differently than I do, and, you know, that's his right and my right. And I think I quit the show 3 times.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And, you know, we talked it out, and I came back because I needed the money. But, yeah, I mean, other than that, you know, we more or less worked pretty smooth.
Oh, and one episode in particular that comes to mind when I think of you guys being brothers, which I did not know at the time that I saw the episode, was one where his character in the show gets you a job working for IPS, the same company that he is a delivery guy for.
Right.
Your characters within the show had a cousin rivalry kind of deal going.
Right. Yeah, that was a brotherly spat. I think we might even had an argument that day, just to gear up for the scene.
Right.
But yeah, it was kind of cool because he, you know, he got me the job, and then I decided it wasn't for me, kind of thing. And he was like, "What? I went through all this to hang out with my cousin that I don't want to hang out with,
right.
And now you want to leave."
And then you're cheating and doing better than him at the job, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't know you're cheating, but
Exactly.
you're kicking his butt, and it's really freaking him out.
Yeah.
And then you have like the grease drag race at the end or something.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was a lot of fun. I mean, you know, driving those trucks at 20 miles an hour, you can imagine the fun.
The ladies were like whistling at you. Oh, let's see. Cherry Pie would like to ask: Is there any talks of Kevin James making a guest appearance on Dusty Peacock?
First of all, I'd like to comment on Cherry Pie.
Go ahead.
I hope that's a chick. You know, he might. He's actually in one of the episodes now. People might not pick up on it, but he's a voiceover as one of the cameramen, along with Rock, in one of the interview style situations.
Great.
Yeah. But I don't know. He might make an appearance. You never know.
As an executive producer, how active is he in working on it? Is it?
Pretty active. I mean, you know, yeah. He wanted hands-on, and you know, it's great. We're all working and having fun with this. It's just a great little project, and we're just having a blast. You know, it's
a lot of fun. I thought a great potential guest would be, we've talked about both of them a little bit in the intro or whatever in conversation, either David Blaine or Chris Angel, and have like a contest with them or something. Have you guys talked about that?
Absolutely. I would love to have Chris Angel on and David Blaine. I mean, they're both out of their minds.
Right. That'd be great.
It'd just be great. It's just a great thing for them to, you know, play themselves, come on and have this rivalry of Dusty, who's, you know, delusional as it is. And, you know, I think it'd be a lot of fun.
That would be a lot. So now where do you see this going as an ongoing, you've made
Nowhere. I don't see it going anywhere.
Okay.
I got to be honest with you, Jeff. I might not even show up to work the next time we shoot. You know, I think it's a great series. We all do. We're having a blast doing it. You know, it's just, the whole cast seems like we've been working together for 10 years. You know, just as it did on the King of Queens, this feels really, really family-oriented, and we're having a blast, and it shows, I think.
It really does.
You know,
there's excellent comedic timing between all you guys, great chemistry.
Yeah, the chemistry's there for some reason, and that just clicked, you know, and that's why we're enjoying doing it, you know, and hopefully, you know, a lot of people get to see it and know it's out there, and it's really going to be a fun series because, you know, it's there's a lot to be told there with these characters, and you know, it's definitely a feature film too. I mean, I could see this being a huge feature. I could see it being a series of features, you know, kind of like an Austin Powers thing.
There you go. Well, let's hope.
That's a shout out to Rock.
That's So the initial outlay though is 8 episodes, or do you have more that you plan on doing right off the bat? Or
the initial order was 8, yeah.
8? Okay.
And then I think if we get picked up, it'll be 140 episodes. But that's a total of an hour and 30 minutes.
That's right. There you go. So it's okay. So 8. So maybe it gets picked up, and again, you're hoping to maybe to make a feature out of it, or several, or maybe.
Yeah, you know, we're just taking it one step at a time. We're just having fun right now, and we did our work. We put it up there. This is what we got. We got the 8 episodes.
And what do? They determine based on how many hits it gets, or with TV, you know what they look for in terms of picking up. What do they look for in a web series?
You know, Jeff, I'm an idiot. I don't know quite yet. in fact, after we shot it, I go, where does it go now, and how does it go? But yeah, I think they go on the hits.
Okay.
You know? That's why we have to get the word out, and obviously, and I think people will really enjoy it.
I think they will too. Absolutely.
And the fact that it's clean, you know, kids can, 13, 14-year-old, 15-year-olds can
Yes.
watch it, and the parents won't have a problem at all.
Huge market for it. So if someone's watching here is going to go to the Crackle.com website to watch one of what is there 8 online now?
I think all 8 are up
I think
now,
all
yes.
yeah. So which one would you recommend they watch first? What's your favorite?
I actually like the pool stunt, you know, because I don't know, it says it all.
I think that one's called Death Breath, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Breath of Death.
Breath of Death. Yeah.
But it's got the word breath in it. I know that.
Right.
But yeah, that's a funny one because and it shows each character as they are. I think the best, and that's the reason we put it up first. You know, so you get the gist of it.
Great. E. Deer would like to.
Okay.
That's a wrap. No. E. Deer would like to ask, do you get to improvise much on the King of Queens? So you talked about being able to do so with your web series. What about King of Queens?
On the King of Queens, you don't get to improvise a lot because the cameras are kind of set in spots, and you know you got to hit your marks. With the film, there's more leeway there, so not as much. Once in a while, a line or two,
right.
You know, if you stay in the same spot, so the camera can pick you up.
Cherry Pie is back for more. Where does the comedic gene come from that you and your brother share? And was it always a dream of yours to be in entertainment?
It comes from our first puppy.
Your first puppy? Yeah.
It was very funny.
Very funny. Yeah.
And growing up, I think it just, you know, spread to us. You know, I don't know. I don't know where it comes from. Our parents were pretty funny, are pretty funny, and you know, it's a weird thing. Comedy's a weird thing. You either have it or you don't, and you know, it's like anything else. You know, I can't do a lot. In fact, I can't do anything but comedy.
You have a sister as well.
Some people would say I can't even do comedy.
Is your sister, does she have the comedy gene?
We have a sister?
I think so. I read that.
Yes. You know what? She's funnier than Kevin and I put together.
Really?
But she's smart enough not to be in the business. Yeah, she's very funny. Kind of drier, you know. And she does her own thing, and she looks from afar at us.
Well, it's funny because I think Dusty is a different kind of humor for you, definitely at least than King. I mean, I was telling you before we came on, I may have mentioned already, your deadpan delivery, the way you say some of the things you have Dusty say with such conviction and so
it's
straight.
brilliant. It's brilliant.
That's
I mean,
brilliant.
it's
That's
just,
you know, what can you say?
You know, we talked about when the series started, when we started shooting, the only way this is funny is if we play it real. You know, it's not funny if you go big with this guy who's wearing a purple jumpsuit and eyeliner and a shaved head, and, you know. And all the other characters, you know, we're all so dysfunctional that we don't have to do anything. We just play it real, and it's in the writing, and it's in the relationships that make it funny.
Absolutely, it sure does. Website guy would like to ask, when will you know if you're making more episodes of Dusty, and what does it depend on? Well, we kind of asked about that a little bit, so do you know when you'll find out?
I think when I leave here.
You're expecting me to call any minute now?
I honestly don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it was just released, the week of July 13th is when they started releasing one at a time or something?
Exactly. They released 4, I think, the first week.
The first week.
And now there's all 8 are up.
Okay, so yeah, so we'll see how
And I think they're going to play one a week for 8 weeks. I don't know. I'm not sure how it's going to go, but you can go to crackle.com and
check it
see
out.
them, yeah.
But basically within the last 10 days is when they were first put out there, and they're going to see how they do and
exactly.
go from
It's
there.
in its infant, you know.
Pieces, where do I go to get an autographed headshot? Personally, right now, I'm not giving out, no, I think it was for you, that question.
Oh, because I was going to ask you
Yeah.
if I can get one from you.
There you go.
Also.
Can they
Where
go,
where can they go?
to get a GV
yeah.
autographed headshot?
To get the GV autographed headshot, you can go to GaryValentineLive.com, but not yet. It's not up yet. It will be up probably within 3 or 4 weeks because I'm just building it now. It's a whole new website. The website now is not updated, but you'll be able to get merchandise on there.
Awesome. We have another question. Someone wants to ask, would you rather do TV, film, or stand-up comedy? Do you have a favorite of those 3?
You know, I like. Well, I always liked stand-up. I mean, obviously, I started as a stand-up, and I think I'll always do stand-up, and hopefully, I'll always act. But you know, it's one of those things where I like television because of that immediate response you get coming from stand-up world. Although film is very fun, you know, like in Dusty it's very fun to be able to shoot a bunch of material and then edit it all down at your leisure, and you know. So I like both, all three mediums.
Must have been a new experience for you, right? Because with stand-up and the live with the sitcom, you're used to that immediate feedback. With Dusty Peacock, you had to play it for people and hear if they would laugh at the first time, right?
Well, you know, I tell you, Jeff, it wasn't new to me because I was such a, you know, film veteran.
Right.
You know, I think my first picture was comedian or Stuck on You. I can't remember. Anyway, you know, it's so funny because I've had a little bit of experience with that, and I remember when I did Stuck on You, that, which was really my first film, that I was doing the scene. I'm going, is this funny? No one's making a peep.
Right.
And camera guys, as you know, nobody can laugh, nobody can do anything. You know, they can't even have the air conditioning on because you hear it. So, you know, it was really nerve-wracking to me. And yeah, the immediate reaction is just something I'm really used to. So it takes a while to get used to that. You just got to, you know, put yourself in the zone and act.
And then it's kind of frightening because the director yells cut, and then everyone all of a sudden just laughs at once. They let out what they've been holding in, you know, during the take, you know?
Including us.
And then it scares you.
Including us,
yeah,
you know?
exactly. Let's see, E. Deer wants to ask, is there any stand-up coming up, like on Comedy Central Presents? You've done a Comedy Central Presents special in the past, right?
Yeah, I did do a few years back, probably 6 years ago, and I'm gearing up to do another an hour special, hopefully at Comedy Central or someplace else.
Now that's hard. An hour special as a stand-up comedian. How long does it take to develop an hour of kill material?
Well, I'm going to do 2 half hours and just put them together.
Right.
So I don't look at it like an hour.
Right.
I look at it as 1 half hour, then the other half hour, right next to each other. It takes a while.
Yeah.
You know, it does. It takes a long time. I mean, any stand-up will tell you it's just to hone it. It could be 1-2 bits. You could do it for 6 months and get it right. You know, 4 or 5 minutes. So it takes a while.
Yeah, because I mean, you were talking before about being naturally funny, but it doesn't mean it doesn't take a lot of time and a lot of hard work to develop funny material as a stand-up, right? Two different things almost, right? Being funny as an actor, and yet the time it takes, even for people who are funny, to develop that 1 hour of material.
Yeah, exactly. Because you know what I think is funny, the audience might not think is funny. And that happens a lot, you know.
Right.
That's why it takes so long.
Right.
If it didn't, I'd go shoot my hour special tonight and just say what I wanted to say, and I go, this is all funny. Trust me.
You talked about Stuck on You. You were also in Paul Blart Mall Cop, and we talked about the look of Dusty Peacock. There was a very interesting look you had in Blart.
Well, you know, it's funny. For some reason, nobody wants me to look like me in any film. Stuck on You, I had these bad long hair plugs, and I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry. I had a bad porno mustache, and in Paul Blart, I had, you know, obviously this whole getup where I was half bald, long blonde hair.
David Lee Roth kind of.
Exactly, mutton chops. I had an Owen Wilson nose. You know, even my relatives were going, I watched the whole thing. Where were you? And they heard me, but they didn't see me. You know, they were like, really? But yeah, you know, playing that karaoke singer was fun. We had a blast.
Yeah, it looked like a lot of fun. How much editing goes into each episode? Do you shoot all day long and then edit it into the smaller episodes, or do they shoot each episode separate? Thanks. Pipe.
Good question, by the way. We shot, we mostly stuck to the episode at hand that we were working on, so we would take probably a day to shoot, or 2, to shoot 1 episode, and then, well, actually that's not true because we would run over in the day. So maybe like 1.5, 2 a day.
Now, did you have like a full crew, like a film crew, or how many, you know, director, first AD, DP, who did you have on set?
We did. We had the whole thing. It was soup to nuts.
Oh, you had everything.
Yeah, even catering.
Even catering.
I mean, unbelievable catering.
Right.
Sony did it up. Yeah, they did a nice job.
Oh, that's right. That's the distributor, production company.
Exactly,
Sony.
yeah.
Correct. Great.
They own Crackle.com.
There you go.
Yeah.
What do I want to ask? I want to talk about writing because you also do write. King of Queens, you wrote 4 episodes?
Yeah, I call it co-writing. I mean, you know, I wrote them with Kevin Enrock, and you know, I'd put my 2 cents in there.
Now, with one episode I wanted to ask you about was Dire Straits, I believe. You had Ray Romano and Patricia Heaton come on the show, and their characters from Everybody Loves Raymond. That was one of the ones?
Yeah, I mean, it was Kevin and I guess, you know, Ray and Kevin did Ray's show, and they wanted to cross over, and,
Right.
and Kevin wanted to have Ray on the show, so we sat down to write an episode, and I said, how does that work? I mean, they shoot on one lot, and we shoot on another. How's he going to cross over here? I mean, by the time he gets here, this show will be over. And he said, you're not laughing, Jeff. This is the deal. Yeah, they wanted to write the episode, so we did. Yeah.
Okay. I was engrossed. I thought you were, you know.
Well, you know what it is? It's just, it's tough to bring over a character from another show and keep that same character. But
Right.
it
That's
kind of
challenging.
worked.
Yeah.
As a couple on a couple, yeah.
Well, it was already established because Kevin had already crossed over
Right.
and done that show a couple of times. So,
Yeah.
so the fans were somewhat familiar.
Exactly.
I thought it was great seeing the 2, let's see, wives that are, you know, have the balls in both families, you know, teaming
Yeah,
up, you know,
exactly, yeah.
joining forces.
The ball wives.
The ball wives, exactly.
Yeah. Although I don't think Kevin was Doug on Ray's show. I think he had another name.
Oh yeah,
Played it-
I think
played
he had a
another
couple
character.
different names.
Yeah.
You know, he was similar but different.
That's sitcom world for you.
That's sitcom world.
Just go with it, man. Just go with it.
But
It had to make sense.
It must have been, I don't know, fun, easy, not easy, but interesting because on Queens, you have your brother and you have Leah with such defined personalities to write for them. I would imagine would be fun.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it was great. You know, it's the whole cast, really. I mean, Jerry Stiller, you know, that guy.
He's a legend. What was it like working with him?
Oh, man. I mean, you know, a lot of people don't know how he is in real life, and he's just an amazing, gentle, kind human being. You know, he's just a great guy. He's totally unlike his characters they played on Seinfeld and King of Queens. And, you know, I'll give you, for instance, how Jerry was. I had buddies come out from New York to visit the set. They've never been out to L.A. or seen a TV set, you know, and I introduced them to Jerry. He sat down with them for 2 hours and, like, talked to them. What do you do? Very interesting. You know, he's a very well-read man and really, really wise. And, you know, got a great ass. I mean, if you ever really look, Jeff, he's got a great ass.
Well, on Seinfeld, we saw he had the man boobs. Now, from King of Queens, we get to find out he's got the great butt. Do you plan on ever doing more writing, features perhaps?
Yeah, I mean, I have some ideas cooking right now, you know, so we're in the process right now.
Awesome. Cherry would like to say, can you talk about the production of Chelsea Lately a bit? How does a shoot go down? So what is Chelsea Lately for audience members who may not have seen it, and what do you do on it?
Well, basically, it's like, you know, they do these current event things with mostly celebs and...
It's like a talk show or a variety show.
Yeah,
right?
in a way, it's a variety show, yeah. And they'll give us, for the round table, the 3 comedian guests, usually, they'll give us some topics that we're going to discuss, and then about an hour or 2 before we go in, and we'll write some material and think of some jokes, and then when we get to the table, we'll hopefully remember them.
Right.
It's difficult.
So, and what have been some of your bits maybe that you're known for from that show?
Well, you know what? I can't talk about Lindsay Lohan's and Britney Spears and all the BS surrounding that, so I usually just make it about myself, you know? You know, if we're talking about Lindsay that day, she's from Long Island, so am I, and I'll just break into sea breeze on Long Island.
Right.
How beautiful it is.
How beautiful. From Original Justin, fact equals King of Queens is Rob Zombie's favorite sitcom. Did you know that?
I did not know that. You know, it's a very weird thing because, you know, you do stand-up for so long and then you do a sitcom. People get to see the sitcom that you never would, you know, assume saw it, you know.
Right.
I mean, I remember during Stuck on You, Cher was in the film, And she came up to me and she said, it's like one of my and I was like, really? But you're Cher.
Right.
What are you doing watching TV?
Right.
Don't you just sing all the time?
See, now the difference is if you run into Cher and she says, Dusty Peacock is one of my favorite web series, you'll be like, I know.
Yeah, that's the difference.
That's the difference.
Well, we know that Dusty's the favorite.
Now you have a sitcom. Is it a sitcom in development that you're executive producing, maybe acting in? What's that about?
Yeah, it's called The Bachelor Chronicles, and we're just it's very early stages. Hasn't been sold anywhere yet. We're just out pitching it, and it's a great idea. I don't want to say what it is.
Keep that on the down low.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Google it, Variety. No, I'm kidding. Let's see, Ginny, any idea how do normal, non-already famous people get a show on Crackle?
Yeah, you just have to ask.
So you go to the website, you look for any of their contact information and ask.
You just ask. Just go to Originals, click on that, and start filming.
Fair enough. So before we get out of here, I want to ask you, we like to ask everyone, do you have a favorite set term speak? You're on the set terms, back to one, checking the gate, anything like that?
Hey, everybody likes to hear this is the martini shot, which means end of the day. But I don't know, I've got a lot of them. Checking the gate, I like that.
Checking the gate, cool.
I like action.
Action, yeah.
Right. I don't know. I like all the different actions.
Right.
Yeah. Our director was action.
Right.
There's a couple other ones. Action.
So we got to record them and sample them for you, get them all back to back for you.
Oh, see, that'd be great.
Different ones. So one last time then, it's crackle.com, Dusty Peacock to watch that. Your website that will be up in 3 or 4 weeks is?
GaryValentineLive.com.
Fantastic. Well, I have to tell you, as a fan of King of Queens and a big fan of Dusty Peacock, it's been a pleasure having you on and meeting you and talking to you.
Thanks, Jeff. Likewise, bud.
All the luck in the world. Everyone, go to crackle.com. That is in order. Check it out. Go back to the Filmnut message boards. Tell me what you think, because I think it's hysterical. Thank everyone for tuning in. If you came in late, missed any of it at all, come back later tonight. It'll be on the on-demand page. Thanks for tuning in.